Hello and welcome to the Just for Gamers video game podcast. Episode 187, Arthur a Go-Go. In this week's episode, fucking Red Dead.
Yeah.
JfG Ash is happy with his purchase.
Like it.
JfG Alex loves a good rant.
Love it.
There's Hitman 2 out. And finally, do you care about mini consoles?
Hello and welcome to the JfG podcast. This is episode 187. My name is Alex and I'm joined as ever by my very good friend Ash. Hey buddy, how are you?
Yeehaw, cowboy! Woo!
Oh,
Get some moonshine and whatever cowboys do.
yeah.
Horses. Oh,
You know.
Indeed.
Oh,
Yeah, buddy. As always, feeling good on a Wednesday. Yeah. Sparkling thoughts give me the hope to go on. And it's been a good week this week. It's been
nice.
Well, it hasn't. It's been fucking terrible with houses and stuff. But luckily, I've had games to play to distract me from that, and it's
That's the important thing,
I've had a
really.
lovely time, to be honest. Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Well, I haven't done a lot. Just putting it out there, you know. Had a cracking game night with you, buddy, on Friday night. Just two-man game night.
Just the duos, just a little duo. It was very enjoyable and relaxed, and I was quite drunk by the end of it, which is, you know, kind of ticks all the boxes in that respect.
Definitely, buddy. Got the job done. And that meant on Saturday morning, I wasn't up for doing anything, so I did absolutely nothing. I stayed in bed till about 11. It was ace.
Shit.
I know.
Okay.
Well, we were two kids down. They were at the grandparents' on holiday somewhere. So we only had the wee little nipper with us. And she was just happy, just, you know, on the tablet, chilling in bed. And we were like, yeah, cool. So I went down, picked up the laptop, brought it back up and did some remote play, you know, in bed.
I'm aware.
I know you know
this.
that. Yeah. My bad. I had some issues because I had to update the remote play app, and then that just fucked everything up. I wasn't happy, and neither were you, buddy. You know.
No, it's the biggest pitfall of that remote play is if you're family sharing, then it will immediately try and connect to your friend's machine rather than your one.
Yeah.
And so it did that, and then through doing that and the app updating, for some reason it made it so that your console was no longer, my console was no longer your primary, and all of my games locked. We just fired up Red Dead, and it was like, you didn't have a license to play this.
Fuck you, buddy. Fuck you. Pretty much.
But hey, it worked out fine. It was all good.
Yeah, Gibbons, buddy. Yeah, we got it sorted. So I had a nice lazy Saturday morning, then got up midday, had some lunch. I think I went for McDonald's, actually, because I'm that crazy. And then went to the tip, took some shit to the tip, went swimming with the nipper. That was loads of fun. Then came back and played some more games. And then I played more games with you. It was great.
Yeah.
And then, you know, got a bit pissed on Saturday night as well. And then I thought Sunday, hey, whoa, let's have another lay-in, because, you know, we got an extra hour that day because the clocks went back or forward, whatever way. Back, is it? Yeah, fall backwards, isn't it? So had another lazy Sunday. It was ace. Then the other kids came back and just sat around playing games. It was mint. I loved it.
Gaming weekend, buddy. That's exactly what you want from life, really.
Literally, this week has just been all about playing games. It's been the best. I mean,
Nice.
I won't bore you with the house update, but, you know, I was meant to be moving in tomorrow. That's not happening.
They're still faffing.
Oh, I don't even know. I don't know.
Just got to suck it up, haven't you?
Well, yeah, it is what it is, you know. I love just
Gibbons.
forking out money. The car's fixed now. That only cost 750 quid, so that wasn't too bad. You know. Good times there.
Well, it sounds like you were well deserving of a relaxing weekend.
Yeah,
of games,
Gibbons,
to be honest.
buddy, and I must say they've been a fantastic distraction to life. And I must say I've been balls deep in the 2 new games we got last week, which I'm very happy about. So not much more for me this week, buddy. What about you? What you been up to, huh? What you been up to? What you been
pop,
doing?
Pop, buddy, pop.
Pop.
Been watching some Community this week.
Nice. Good choice.
We got through all that Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Yeah, not a massive amount for me this week, buddy. We went out for the quiz. You may or may not remember last week when I said we were going to the quiz on the Thursday night.
Reigning champions.
We were the reigning champions. Firstly, the person who normally does the quiz wasn't there, and the replacement was some kid who was shit. So that was annoying.
That's not good.
The questions were the same, but from the same place, so they were similar. But we didn't get any of the rounds we wanted. And then there were 2 rounds. We were trying to decide which round to play the Joker on, because there was like geography and history and potluck. You got to be a complete maniac to play your Joker on potluck. It really is a sort of cry for help for any self-respecting quiz team, if you ask me.
Obviously.
So we had to decide on the Joker between hair metal bands was one category.
Yeah.
And the other one was serial killers. And we had to decide between the 2. So we picked the metal bands.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be a true or false round of, is this a real band or not? Which is pretty hard, because you're just going to have a load of like fetal
Obscure
baby cakes,
yeah,
or
exactly.
Satan's anal cavity and that sort of thing. So we got a 7 on there out of 10, which was a reasonable effort.
That's
and
not
then
bad.
Up pops the serial killers round, and rather than actually being about serial killers, like real serial killers, it's basically all just telly, and we just absolutely nuked it 10 out of 10.
Nice.
And had we picked the Joker on that round, we would have won the quiz, buddy. But because we picked it on the hair metal, we came second by 1 point.
Shitbags.
Would have won it comfortably had we picked the right round there.
Wow.
But we weren't to know.
That's
so,
life, buddy.
Second is a creditable defence,
definitely.
I think.
You tried well. You tried your best.
Yeah.
Just a bit unfortunate, I'd say, there.
Gibbons. But yeah, if that dude's doing it again next time round, then we won't be going there anymore. We'll have to find somewhere else. Fuck that guy. And he might be our bad luck charm as well, so we can blame him for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a write-off, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wouldn't even call it a proper quiz.
No, shit sticks. Absolute shit sticks. So, that was my Thursday. The weekend, out and about in the town. I got some jeans from Gap for £1, buddy, because there was a 70% off sale, and I just found a Gap voucher in my wallet. I don't know where it came from.
It was just there, magic.
I don't know how old it was. It was a refund card. Well, I've never taken anything back to Gap, so I don't really understand where it came from. But, basically, I went to the till and was like, I probably want these jeans, but can you tell me if there's anything on this card? And on the card was £1 less than the cost of the jeans.
Nice.
So I
Well
got a pair
played,
of jeans
sir.
for £1. I was happy with that.
It's a bargain.
Then we went Pantel's Tap, buddy, got shit-faced on the old Curious Brew. There was a Halloween party down there. Everyone was dressed as, like, vampires. And there was a dude in toilet rolls. So that was fine. Yep. And then Grand Prix in the evening on Sunday with friend of the podcast, Paul. Monday Night Football with friend of the podcast, Paul. And that's about me, buddy. The only other thing that I did was I accidentally cooked a casserole for 30 hours this week.
3-0.
Yeah, 3-0. I put it in the morning. I was like, I'm going to cook this like a slow cooker for 8 hours. It's going to be loads, lovely.
And then you got really pissed.
Went about my wicked foul business. This was on like Monday.
Okay.
Went about my business, and I was doing whatever I was doing, fucking about with CVs and shit. And then I went out for a bit, came back, and couldn't really smell it. And I was kind of a bit baffled by that. Realised I hadn't turned it onto the wall, buddy. It was on, it was on low, but I hadn't turned it onto the wall. And the meat that I was cooking was that really shit, like, chunks of beef that you can't do anything with unless
it's cooked forever.
Yeah. So by that point, it was too late to rescue it for dinner. that day. So I thought, I guess we'll eat this tomorrow then.
Yeah.
Put it on and left it on until yesterday night. So
Nice.
yeah, 30 hours. And the meat was tough.
Yeah?
After a 30-hour simmer, the meat was tough. So I don't know how that works exactly. And
That's confusing.
Don't buy meat from Sainsbury is
Well,
probably the moral of this particular story, buddy. But yeah, that was my spell of retardation this week.
Well
That's
played.
basically
Well
it. Other
played.
than that, lots and lots of video games.
Nice, buddy.
So before we go on to that, buddy, I'll probably just ask you very briefly, not very exciting my end, but what are you drinking this evening?
Once again, buddy, no comical beers this week. Just the straight up Rhinebacker again. It's cheap and cheerful. I did take 2 days off drinking on Monday and Tuesday this week, so I'm fucking ready to get wasted, which is always good for a pod night, buddy. Always good.
Yeah, Gibbons.
So
play.
yeah, nothing exciting from me, buddy. What are you drinking this evening? Anything special?
Absolutely not, buddy. I'm on the
Nice.
pint cans of Stella this evening. It's the staple cheap but does the job beer for me at this point.
That's the one. That's
I
all you
really do
need.
think they've changed the recipe or something in the UK because they don't taste as shit as they used to. So
Or have you just like acclimatized?
that's a distinct possibility, buddy.
Yeah, nice. I like it either way, buddy.
Gibbons, full blown, good for me. So yeah, okay. Well, with that all settled, buddies, the topic for this week's podcast is video games, and it's probably time for us to go and talk about what we've been playing. So, buddy, I would normally say, do you want to get the ball rolling this week? But I think we've just played exactly the same stuff for the first time in quite a long time.
I know. And for
Have you
quite
played anything without me that
fucking-
you want to talk about, or just get stuck into this?
Not really. I mean, I haven't played Destiny 2 this week. Not
that's 'cause-
once.
Check that out.
Not once, sir. That's crazy.
That's
So-
unprecedented.
I know. I haven't got anything to talk about there. So yeah, we got some games to talk about here, I guess. Probably start off with the best one. That's £4 purchase of Need for Speed, buddy.
yeah. This game, you'll remember last week, you hadn't played it yet. I had played it for about an hour. I'd got through the tutorial. This was a game that we played the open beta of back in the day as well.
Indeed. And that wasn't great.
We were unimpressed by that.
But I was like, no, we need to play it for a minimum of 4 hours or something, I think I said.
Yeah, and you were pretty much bang on with that time.
Yeah.
Because this game is...
Go on.
It's really good.
Yeah, it is, buddy. It's
It's a
loads of
really
fun.
good arcade racing game. Everything surrounding it is obviously terrible. The story's atrocious.
It's what you want in a racing game. Good bit of story.
Yeah, the story's shite. So yeah, it's definitely a problem, the story, and the fact that it's unskippable cutscenes.
Yeah, there's no way to get around it,
inexcusable, to be honest.
Now, I think, like, while we're talking about the story, I think we need to mention that, personally, I feel that they've done a really good job of, like, that whole FMV sequence where your car's in the background kind of thing.
Oh,
and
yeah,
it
technically
goes
it's
straight
impressive.
from that into the game sometimes and things like that. It's they've done that very, very well. It's just unfortunate that they've hired actors, like, just off the street to play these characters that are absolutely ball bags. And I think if I was about 13, 14, like, this day and age, and, you know, as most 13, 14-year-olds are absolute cunts, I'm guessing. And,
I'd imagine so.
And love... God no, they're like the internet generation, or not the whatever, millennials or whatever they're called. They're like, I would love this game because, one, I don't have a car and I can't drive it, and two, I think that, you know, people like that are super cool. If YouTube's anything to go by.
Yeah, everything's bra and rad. I don't know. I still hope that this is, for the most part, not an accurate representation of what kids are like right now. It's actually like the EA, like, boardroom representation.
Oh no, I definitely think
But-
it is the EA boardroom
I don't really know. And as you say, like if you're young enough, like when I was like 11 or 12, I would have definitely lapped up this complete bullshit.
Yeah.
But the important thing is the racing, I suppose.
Yeah, obviously, no one really cares about the story. I mean, it's nice that it gives it a bit more diversity. You know, that you've got 4 main characters, I guess. Is it 4 or 5? I can't remember. Oh, 5 with the outlaw. Different styles of racing or different parts of like the racing.
Disciplines.
Yeah, exactly. So you've got your build, your speed, your drift, your outlaw, and whatever the other one is, I don't know. Oh, your crew, isn't it? Where you're a team.
Yeah.
So yeah, it kind of gives it that purpose, which is nice. And yeah, I guess the racing is just it's really good when you get to grips with how to race these cars. Now, as soon as I kind of loaded into it and was able to adjust my car, I chucked it pretty much all of it towards drift. Because
and this is something
that's
you can
what this
do,
game
is.
is.
You can spec your handling model. You can either select each individual component, like the style of tires. Do you want grippy or drifty, and so on?
Yep.
The sort of the way that power is delivered and the turbo and everything. Or you've got your master slider at the top, where you've got racing one end, drifting at the other, and you can just move it along and it sort of adjusts all of the things below. And it seems very effective because you were on a sort of higher drift level and I was on a more of a grippy level, and I completely forgot that was the case, and we were doing some like drift challenges and I just couldn't get the back end to go out
not
at all. And you were fucking honing around.
I was just like
when I switched it out and made it more drifty, then we were both just like scudding about, having a great time.
And it was lot
the drifting
of fun.
Is really kind of weird at first and quite hard to get the hang of. For the first couple of hours, but once you get it, it's incredibly satisfying.
Yes,
it genuinely is. It's a lot of fun, isn't it? And then you've got a real good selection of races. The city, the graphics are really nice. The rubber banding is an issue, I think, with the AI, but overall the diversity of the different levels and the different tracks and race styles and stuff is pretty good. And then you've got all that like underground style customization as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I feel like the customization could go a lot further and a lot deeper into what you can do. I mean, if you compare it to something like GTA 5's customization, there's a hell of a lot you can do in GTA 5, and I feel like this as a arcade customizationable racing street game or whatever it is, it should have a hell of a lot more in it. I don't know. I mean, I'm nearly at. I think I'm like level 35. Just to say, I've played about 14 hours of this week.
Yeah, same.
You know, so we're not saying like, oh, we've played like 6, 7. We've played a fuckload of this game in 1 week.
On game night, we played it for like 4 hours, and then on Saturday night, we played it for another like 2.5.
Exactly. So it's not like
I get what you're saying with the customization, certainly in terms of the things like bodywork and neons and that sort of thing.
Which is that
seems absent, and that's a bit weird.
It is. It is a bit of an upset, but. You know, there's enough there to keep you busy. And then I do like the fact that it has like community liveries and things like that. So you haven't got to customize it yourself and you haven't got to pay for them. It's literally go on there, check them out. If you like it, use it. If you don't, fuck it off, you know, kind of thing. Obviously, you get your standard 18 rated ones on there, which is always nice.
Yeah, lovely. And a few where you've got like, download this livery and remove all the blue from it to reveal a little titted lady or something. It's and then usually there's just a message under there that says, "Oh, fuck you," or
you're a swat. I'm like, yeah,
there's a lot of like weird stuff.
Classic.
There are some cool liveries, and it seems that they're kind of transferable between vehicles as well, which is quite nice. And I think as well the diversity of the vehicles, even though there's probably only 35 cars or something, maybe might not even be that many.
No.
They're all really different, and they all handle slightly differently, and have different customizations available to them. I've got like a Beamer and a little Exige and a Ferrari, and you can have sort of 5 cars in your garage, and the handling's really different. It's impressive.
Yeah, it is good. There's a couple of other points that I want to touch on. One is the fast travel and stuff like that. So one of my main issues with like racing open world games is like, fuck that, really. Like, I just want to go and race from start to finish kind of thing. I don't really want to go and drive around a city and go from point A to point B just to start a race. And with this, luckily, yeah, you don't have to. Found out quite quickly that it's just a case of loading up the map. You want to go there? Yeah, you can teleport straight to it. No bother, which is, a massive bonus for me.
And then it pops you on the start line for that race, and you can immediately hit square to invite your crew, triangle to invite everyone on the map.
Yeah,
and
so
that
was
seems to work pretty seamlessly.
That was the other thing that I want to talk about is the kind of integration with your friends. At first, we were like, "What the fuck is this? How do we get in a game together?" and kind of thing. So, yeah, it seems like you have to crew up before you start the game. Otherwise, you have to quit the game and start again, which is a bit dumb, but when that's done, you are putting an online instance with up to 8 people.
Yeah, that's right.
And what you can do when you teleport to a race, you have the option to start it by yourself, invite your crew, which is just you and your buddies, or you can invite everyone in the game session. And that when we realized that, it was like, wow, this is perfect. This is so easy to just get to a race, invite you, and get going straight away. So we were quite happy just going through all the story missions together. If there's some that I'd done, we'd go back and do yours, and vice versa. It was just a really pleasant experience when, after we learned how to do it. There's not really any tutorial on how to do it, which is a bit of a shame. But
no, we were looking for private options which just aren't there. These are dedicated servers, and you can't make them private. So there's a good chance that if there's 2 of you playing together, then there may be 6 other people in the world. But to be honest, we didn't really find that griefing was much of an issue. There's a couple of occasions where someone was kind of sniffing around us, being a bit of a bellend.
Yeah, it's mainly the AI
over the other side of the map,
because this puts AI like street racers in the world as well, obviously, for you to
fill it up a bit.
Yeah, and most of the time the people that we'd be hitting is the other AI drivers coming the other way, doing whatever circuit they're programmed to do. I guess
they're not involved in our race, just going about their wicked foul business, and
exactly.
All of a sudden they're right in your fucking way on a hairpin, and you can't get your drift right or whatever. But,
and true to life, buddy, I guess.
It might be the best £4 we have ever spent.
I'm extremely happy with this purchase. I contemplated buying this a while ago when it was like 15 quid. I think if I bought it then and put this amount of hours in, I would have been fine with that. But
yeah,
for £4, what a fucking bargain, mate. Absolute winner.
I mean, it's very similar to Rivals, which
yes.
was the launch title.
But this is at night time and cooler.
Yeah, this looks way better, and
it's
got all the customization, and it's got a better structure. Although the story is incredibly annoying, the actor's terrible, and the cutscene's unskippable, it does at least mean you've got a real diverse selection of different mission-style races, drift races, train races, like all sorts of different stuff you can do there. It's pretty well fleshed out. The city is quite fun to drive around. There's just about enough traffic without it being a pain in the arse.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel completely deserted apart from the lack of any pedestrians or daytime. But
it's always nighttime. That's it, isn't it? Street racing, it's nighttime.
Yeah, exactly. Some other weird stuff here as well. There's drag racing with manual gears, kind of a bit of a sort of homage to the old Need for Speed Underground sort of drag races that you could do. They were kind of on lanes, weren't they? And you kind of, I think they were manual gears as well. You sort of right stick
and
up,
then you could switch. I think there was 4 lanes, and you could switch between them, wasn't it? I think
that's right. Yeah, this is on one lane as far as I can tell, but it's got that sort of get the right amount of wheel spin off the line, and then right stick at the right times to make sure you're hitting the top revs. And yeah, it's nice. There's just a lot here, and it's really fun. The driving is decent. I didn't like it at all at first. The way that it just felt like every time I turned the car,
I'd be hitting the
overturned.
Wall.
Yeah. But as with anything, really, you put 3 or 4 hours in, and you start to master it. And I don't think it's a bad handling model. I just think it's very different.
It's very arcadey, and that's what it boils down to. It's a very, very good arcade racer. Once you get the hang of it, like I remember playing think it was Ridge Racer 7. I don't know if it was 7. It was the first one on the 360 when it came out.
Yeah.
And I just remember playing that and being like, this is fucking ridiculous. You know, as soon as I press the brake, the back end is just like at 90 degrees kind of thing.
Yeah.
And this isn't as severe as that, but it can be. If it's a case of not holding that brake down a lot, it's a case of dabbing the brake and then accelerating the fuck out of it. And it's very satisfying, like you say, when you do get one of these corners right. It's a very good game, and I'm enjoying it. I plan to finish through the whole thing. We'll probably play some after the pod. And I didn't think I'd be saying this about this game at all last week when I bought it.
This looks particularly platinumable.
Oh, indeed, buddy.
If that's a word that you could use.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think we will. I think we will get to the end of this thing together. It's really fun to have a funny, arcadey, relaxing co-op game as well, where it doesn't, it's not super important like how skillful you are.
Yeah, no, not at all.
But the sense of speed on here is very, very good, and that's something where these games where you're driving kind of souped up road cars, it can really fall down there. But no, it feels real quick and pretty satisfying. It's got some problems, but overall, I think the reviews, this kind of was getting 6s and 7s when it came out. This is a definitely an 8 out of 10 game.
I'd say 8 out of 10, definitely. Gameplay, fucking brilliant. But yeah, so that's obviously the game that everyone wanted to hear about this week.
That's what they were waiting for and expecting.
I know, exactly. Probably talk about that other one we picked up.
Red Dead Redemption 2, buddy.
Yeah, that game.
I have played a lot of this game.
I'm sure.
I've played. Well, I've just hit 50%.
Jesus,
completion.
I'm on 25%. But I think that's pretty good going, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a solid effort. So, do you want to start this, or shall I start this?
Okay, yeah. I'm just gonna do a quick comparison to Need for Speed, which is definitely what people will be comparing this game to. Now, obviously, from going from a incredibly fast, balls deep, quick teleporting, quick travel and stuff, to this game, it felt incredibly slow paced.
I mean, the handling model is nowhere near as good as Need for Speed.
Luckily, you can drift your horse, though, buddy. So
you can.
When I saw that, I was like, I'm fucking there, mate. Now I'm there. I'm in. But yeah,
customization on the horse, not too bad.
Not
you can kind of change the tail,
and the mane,
different
pimp up that saddle,
Yeah, absolutely.
But no, it was the initial thing from this game. I was like, wow, this is a very slow paced game. And the first 2 hours of it, I was like, I'm not sure about how this is moving forward and things like that. But then obviously I played it for like another 10 hours and I was like, this is fucking amazing. This is the best game. I just want to play so much more of it. So yeah, that's where I am at the moment, I'd say.
I think certainly the beginning of the game they were definitely going for, and it's an easy comparison to make because of the snow at the beginning of the game, but they were definitely going for this sort of Hateful Eight kind of vibe, the sort of ponderous beginnings, trudging through the snow. They were kind of using the fact that the snow is going to obviously slow down every range of movement as a perfect playground for tutorials. So you can kind of learn how everything works in terms of the pacing of your running and of your horse and so on. There's a lot of systems in Red Dead Redemption 2. Some of them work better than others. It just feels a bit much at times, I find. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think the pacing, I've been really pleased with the pacing so far. It took me, I think, an hour and a half to get through that initial area and get out of the sort of mountainous region. Yeah. Obviously, we're going to completely avoid spoilers here. This is a brand new game that everyone's playing at the moment, so I'm not going to talk about specific story beats or anything like that, just the sort of general feel of playing the thing. The world is absolutely astounding. The level of detail, the graphical fidelity for a map of this size is unprecedented. No one's ever done a map as big as this that looks as good as this. It certainly makes Bethesda look a bit fucking silly.
Yeah.
I couldn't help but think that quite often when you're playing through something like Skyrim or Fallout 4. And it's just riddled with bugs and jaggy textures and bullshit.
Not this, buddy.
Obviously, this doesn't have anywhere near as much content in terms of missions and so on as those Bethesda titles do. But in terms of RPG elements, it's got just as much as something like
I would
Fallout,
say
possibly more so.
One of the big things that they've definitely done is double down on the RPG on this, You've got countless amounts of shit in your satchel at all times. You've got a not advanced crafting system, but there is a decent crafting system there for all different types of things like cooking, different types of ammunition, fuck knows what else, outfits and stuff you can craft and things like that. It's pretty in depth on that.
It is,
kind of
and
things.
all the food does different things, and even the reticules for your sort of health and your stamina are kind of more detailed than most games because you've almost got sort of two different bars.
Yeah, true. So you've got your main health, and then you've got your initial health there and then kind of thing, isn't it? It's
so you've got to. They call them cores. So for example, your health is a circle with a heart in it, and then a bar around the outside. The bar around the outside is the health you currently have, and the amount that the circle is filled in the middle is how quickly your health will regen on that bar should you take damage. So obviously the important thing is to have that central core full, so that if you do take damage, then you regen really quickly. And the same goes with stamina. And your horse has these bars as well, so it's kind of it sounds complex in terms of it sounds a little annoying, but I haven't really found it to be annoying. The sort of inventory management and core and health and stamina management stuff, I haven't found that particularly annoying at all.
No, me neither so far.
Just a clever idea for a system. I mean, you've got special items that will not only recharge your stamina, but also give you a boost for 24 hours of in-game time.
Fortify it, I think it is, isn't it, or something?
Yes, that's right. And that's another clever thing. The fact that you can smoke a cigar before you go into battle to fortify your health or whatever.
Yeah.
I like the idea of that. It's a very Rockstar type thing. I think the map is absolutely beautiful. I mean, I've seen, I don't know how much of it at this point, judging from when I'm scrolling around on the map. I think I've probably seen 3/4 of it, something like that. There's plenty of different settlements, plenty of things to do. And crucially, and comparing it to maps of other open world games, and semi-open world games, it was always so annoying in Metal Gear 5 to get from A to B, because you just go as the crow flies and there'd be a fucking rock face there that you can't get, and you just end up skirting around this thing for ages. The radar system in the game is pretty solid. It tends to, if you're not on a path, then it gives you a dotted line to the nearest path so that you can get back there. And the map itself is brilliantly designed so that there aren't too many of these impassable, unmovable barriers that mean you have to kind of skirt around for fucking miles in the wrong direction.
I think the main thing about the world, the environment that you're in, it just feels alive. So when you're going from point A to point B, you are not constantly, but most of the time you're seeing wildlife here, there, everywhere. And the way they've animated that wildlife, I mean, obviously it's a computer game. You're going to get glitches in there every now and again. It will look fucking stupid. But I'd say 95% of that time, that wildlife looks absolutely amazing with its movements and its, flocking abilities where they stay together and things. It just looks so natural. And for me, that just makes those journeys from point A to point B, because that could take quite a while, it just makes it a hell of a lot more pleasant and enjoyable.
It's just a lovely place to be, which is kind of the opposite of certain other open world games. Portions of like the Witcher 3's map, for example, are just a horrible place to be, and that's the lore of the game.
Yeah.
But this being like out in the open it really is incredible, as you say, with the wildlife, but also I think the audio is spectacular. The texturing on the ground, the amount of grass and brush and trees and and then
vegetation.
On top of that, the day-night cycle and the lighting engine that goes with it it's
amazing.
So good. Like, it just looks interesting at all times. At any given moment, anywhere in the map, it just is an interesting place to look at and a nice place to be a lot of the time.
Gibbons.
So I suppose we should talk about I don't know how much detail to really go into. I think a lot of people are probably playing this anyway. Certainly, the story is good fun. The side missions, I think, are perhaps better than the story a lot of the time, and I think that's the case with a lot of open world games.
Yeah,
kind of felt like that about Horizon as well. From what I've played of the story so far, and it would appear that I'm about halfway through. I find that the story missions are incredibly linear, and that can be quite galling when you're so used to just moseying around wherever you want to. There's a hell of a lot of just go and stand by this person, follow this person for 10 minutes, and there'll be dialogue beats and so on. But it's a little bit kind of underwhelming, I think, a lot of the story, and also a lot of the decisions that are being made by the characters seem kind of dumb to me a lot of the time. And that's something that I never felt in The Witcher. I never felt like the characters, I understood their motivations and understood why they were doing what they were doing and why they were saying what they were saying. And I have to compare the story in this game to The Witcher. And I think if The Witcher hadn't come along, then this would be one of the greatest open world stories that I'd ever played. But I don't think it compares. I don't think it's as good. I think The Witcher is more interesting. It's a funnier, smarter script. I think a lot of the acting in this game is exceptionally good, but I think The Witcher even better. And that's kind of surprised me because, you know, this is a game that's 3 years younger. And Rockstar have had a hell of a long time to
get it developed and
to get it just to make it interesting. I mean, some of the quests in Horizon and The Witcher kind of open-ended, interesting quests, lots of different ways maybe to do them. But there are real issues here, predominantly with the stealth, in my opinion, in that it's incredibly hard to know when you're not being seen. You can be completely like creeping into somewhere and then suddenly someone will see you and you're like, there's no way that you could see me. And then you'll run off into the undergrowth for like a mile and hide behind a tree when no one's looking at you at all. And then 10 seconds later, 20 people are standing around this tree. They all know where you are and they're all shooting you. They shouldn't know where you are.
See, I feel that kind of takes that from GTA as well. And I've had instances where, just like in GTA, where you want to make a quick escape or whatever, and due to like camera controls or whatever, it just makes it difficult to get in and out and around like buildings and things like that. It's just not as quick and snappy as I'd like. It should be for situations like that, and I'll end up running into a wall for like 3 seconds before I get down like a little alleyway or something like that kind of thing.
And that seems to be over animation because there's just so much going on with the character models all the time. And again, comparing it to The Witcher, The Witcher's control system, it felt really fiddly. But it always kind of did things snappily, like quickly, and you were able to do stuff. This just feels very sluggish. And
to get your pace up, you know, you're like, okay, I'm going now, kind of thing.
I must have put 35 hours into this game already, and I am still struggling sometimes to control this dude. like, and to get away, and as you say, getting stuck on stuff. Some of the things it asks you to do in earlier missions, for example, riding off on horseback at high speed across fields whilst firing a gun backwards behind you, incredibly difficult, like really not intuitive. And the horse, unlike The Witcher again, the horse is not going to stick to that path.
Which is a shame.
It kind of arcs in a little bit, and you're fine if it's very straight, but if you're going like a right angle, it'll just fuck off into the fields.
Or off a cliff.
There's problems with the combat here. It's the same as the problems I had with GTA 5's combat, and it's the same problems that I had with GTA 4's combat. It's a little bit sluggish, and a little bit the way that it snaps to. Oh, and obviously you can turn that off, but God knows how well you'd get on.
No, I wouldn't get on very
30
well.
enemies at you, and you're manually aiming with a controller for all of them. I'm not sure that would go particularly well either. But yeah, these are relatively small things.
Yeah, this is us picking holes in, for picking holes' sake kind of thing.
All in all, this is an absolutely astounding achievement. The detail is ridiculous, and a lot of people kind of were complaining in the run up to this, and when the reviews came out, that some of the detail kind of hindered the quality of life for the player. But there aren't very many examples of that, I don't think. Like the fact that when you whistle for your horse, you have to wait for it to arrive from wherever it was.
No, I want it now.
Rather, The Witcher, it spawns it in off camera, and then you can jump on the fucking thing. Like, I don't see why I have to wait for the horse. It's a fucking video game. But there's not a lot of that going on for the most part. When I heard about the amount of the RPG elements, I was worried about how much you're going to have to like keep yourself fed and watered and stuff. But that's not really getting in the way at all for me. And
no, I've barely noticed it, to be honest. It's only when, for instance, I'm in like the freezing mountains in like a shirt. Then I'm like, oh shit.
Can be an issue.
I'm a bit fucked here. Shit, I brought my coat.
I've played I did go shopping, which is when like I made it to a fairly built up area at this point, and went for a haircut, got a new tash.
Mate, that's one of the first things I did. I was like, yep, get my hair cut, get a new tash, sort my beard out, get some new digs. I'm like wearing like a red jacket now.
I've got a red jacket as well.
Dapper, mate. I'm not your standard shitty outlaw covered in muck, mate. I'm a higher class of outlaw.
I really like the character as well. I think he's it's kind of interesting when you first start playing, as someone who didn't put much time into the first game.
Can we please say second game?
Second game, sorry,
because
absolutely.
The amount of like podcasts and people that have been, I the first game. I'm like, no,
second game.
Thank you.
A lot of the characters in the camp, a lot of the characters in your gang, it feels when you first start playing the game like they'd probably be a better protagonist, like they'd probably be the better player-controlled character.
Yeah.
But the further on you go through the story, the more you sort of warm up. And yeah, no, I really like him. I think he's the perfect choice of character.
Yeah.
Kind of an everyman, kind of this person who's like losing the Wild West to civilization, and it is a little sour about it, but also kind of it's bittersweet, and he kind of understands.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the one of my favorite things about this game is being in basically a fucking lawless gang. I don't feel quite so bad about killing people and stuff in this game.
I was going to ask you, like
part of the course.
How are you because obviously it's all about, the classic good versus bad. Like how are you monitoring that? Are you kind of staying down the middle, like a bit good, a bit bad, or are you going all out, I'm a massive cunt kind of thing?
I think I've been pretty central in that. If someone stops me in the street and asks me to help them, then usually I will.
Yeah.
If anyone says anything bad to me, even if I bump into them or something,
they're dead.
Then there's a good chance that I'll just off them on the spot and accept the consequences.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's been a few times. There was a guy standing outside this building the other day, and he was some like big old racist talking about like eugenics. He was trying to sell books about eugenics, saying how like there shouldn't be any sort of interracial mingling, and he was clearly this like mega racist dude. And so but they're really fun to just fuck with these AIs, because they're pretty decent in terms of like running away and stuff. So I like rugby tackled him to the ground and then let him get up. And then I chased him across like most of the city until I sort of got him into this alleyway. Then I lassoed him. Then I hogtied him. Then I carried him to the docks and threw him in the sea. And then just walked away. And because I hadn't physically killed the guy, no one had any problem with that whatsoever. It was very satisfying.
I'm enjoying a lot of the random encounters in this game. I must say they're very good. They're very well thought out and everything. I had one where a guy came up. He wanted he'd been bitten by a snake or something, and you have the option either to like fucking leave him or help him out. So I was like, yeah, I'll help him out. Fucking hell. So I sucked the venom out of his leg. And I thought nothing. He was like, yeah, cheers, mate. You saved my life. And I'm like, yeah, no worries, buddy. I'll catch you later. And then, I don't know, a few hours later in the game, I go into the city and he's there. He's like, oh, you're that guy that saved my life. Oh, yeah. And he gave me a free gun.
Nice.
He was like, go into the shop, get a gun on me. I'm like, whoa, free gun for being a gun. I'm like, that's cool. Like, I didn't think I'd ever see that guy again. He was just sitting there on a bench, like, talking to his mate. He's like, oh, this is the guy I told you about. I was like, fuck me, that's awesome.
Some of the instances where you can help, it highlights someone and you could like do something like there's a dude being chased down by a policeman. I just watched the policeman chase him down, like beat shit out of him and then carry him away, and he was just like, the law's got this, don't worry, kind of thing. And it's just stuff like that makes the world feel alive. Have you met that British dude yet who's just wandering about looking for his mate?
No, I haven't.
It's just some dude, and I don't really understand. I'm not sure what English people sounded like in 1899, if I'm honest. Probably not like this guy. This guy just sounds, probably to our American audience, he probably just sounds like me.
Yeah.
And he's just wandering through this village, and he's just going, Gavin! Gavin, he's like, Gavin, has anyone seen Gavin? I'm looking for my mate Gavin. And he's just like that. And I keep bumping into him in various different areas on the map. He's still looking for this Gavin dude to get to like the major town. Then just come around a corner and he's like, and then I suddenly just hear, like I didn't even see him, I just suddenly hear, Gav! Gavin!
Yeah, mate.
Just shit like that. So good. There's also some interesting stuff with technology in this, because obviously you're at the turn of the century, and that starts sort of coming in. But lots and lots of occasions where I've come unstuck because of the controls. Fired off a weapon while I'm trying to sneak into a house.
Yeah.
Tried to sneak into a homestead, made sure that they were both asleep by looking through the windows, and then approached the door a little too quickly and just barged into it and like threw it open, waking them both up.
There you are, guys. Yeah.
Was riding along on my horse alongside the train, and then accidentally jumped onto the train, at which point everyone on the train thought I was robbing the train.
Classic,
and I didn't have a ticket, and they just shot me to death.
Nice.
Stuff like that kind of happens all the time, but you can forgive it because it's funny.
One tip is you can manually save. I think you can have like 15 or 20 slots. Use them all. Just use them all, and then if
keep saving it.
Shit goes south, then just fucking load up your previous save and you're all good.
Absolutely.
I've definitely done that a lot, I must say, through the course. It's like stupid things like I'm in the city, I get on my horse, I go to ride away, and it just hits into someone. Immediately I'm wanted for like $15. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, it's annoying, isn't it? Yeah. You have to be really careful.
Yeah, they're all just little things that, you know, we can pick out. But this game's great. And I'm going to play a hell of a lot more of it, and I can't wait for the online, because it's going to be, I don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be pretty fucking good. I'm going to have a glorious mustache, buddy. It's going to be beautiful.
I've been practicing my blackjack and my poker, buddy, so I'll be ready to go for that.
I won, I beat a whole table at poker the other day. I was like, yep, that was a good use of an hour to get like
I
14.
played for an hour, yeah.
Get 14 or 15 bucks. I was like, yep, totally worth it.
Some of the prices are baffling in this game.
Yeah.
I went into a tavern the other day and it was like $2 for a drink, and I'm thinking, fucking, that was like
That's
$200
yeah.
in 1899. Like,
That's crazy
man,
to it. It better be a good fucking drink, buddy.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, because obviously you're a lot further than me, but I can't seem to get any hookers. I don't know why that.
I haven't tried, actually.
So I've been perusing the saloons, like, trying to get some loving, and it's just like, I go up to them, I'm like, you right, ladies? They're like, oh yeah, you look nice. I'm like, see you later then. I'm like, what? That's not what I want to say.
I don't know how it works. I don't know if you have to rent a room in a saloon and then you get
the option. I don't know, mate. I tried renting it. I got a room in the hotel. Nothing.
I'll have to try it in this like city that I'm in and see.
Yeah,
if that kind
let me know, because otherwise
it's on your to-do list.
Yeah, obviously.
Todo, Givens. Well, there we go. We'll have a little bit more about Red Dead in the news. It's obviously like big news this week, and I think it took $750 million in its opening weekend. So
yeah, they did good. They did
done
good.
All right. But yeah, it's an absolutely fantastic game. There was kind of not quite as much hype as you would maybe expect in the lead up to this. I don't know exactly, but it wasn't like this is going to be the greatest game ever, and I think that kind of tempered my expectations a tiny little bit, because it's absolutely amazing, but it's not the best. It's not the best open world game I've ever played. It's probably top 5 though, I would say.
Oh, definitely, yeah. It's up there.
So yeah, very, very briefly, I want to return to Pro Evolution Soccer, buddy, because we had a question from a friend of the podcast, Chris, last week, asking whether he should get it as an offline-only player.
At the moment, it's on sale for like 20 quid on the store. So if you're going to buy it now.
We were talking last week about all of the various problems. It's been patched a few days after last week's show. It was patched. We played it on game night and had a few good games on there. Not brilliant games, but certainly better than it was before.
Well, yeah, because we played online co-op, and yeah, they've added the AI challenge thing now, or whatever it is, so we didn't have to play against humans.
Yeah, because that's a terrible experience that no one should really do.
Yeah.
But against the AI, just a very quick update. I don't think many people are going to be that interested in this, but they have adjusted the AI significantly so that it now does a few different things than the same fucking thing all the time. Namely, they've improved headers to the point where you can actually score them, which also means that the AI will cross the ball in the air. They also play down the middle a bit more, the AI. And those headers being a little bit stronger means that the online is a little bit better in that respect as well. It's actually worth putting corners into the box, for example. But overall, I've played probably another sort of 20 or 30 games of this thing this week since the update. And I've been kind of umming and ahhing about how much better it's actually got. And I just think there are so many fundamental issues with this video game that I still wouldn't recommend it. I still wouldn't recommend that you buy it. I'm still going to be waiting for FIFA to be heavily discounted, probably after Christmas. I just don't think that this is a very good game. And I was having a conversation with a friend of the podcast, Paul, today, and he said, "Can you think, other than the graphics, can you think of a single thing this version of PES does better than last year's game?" And we sat there for half an hour trying to think of something it does better, and we drew a blank. It doesn't. It's a worse game in every single department than last year's iteration. So, to answer your question, friend of the podcast, Chris, don't buy it. It's not worth it. It's not very good.
There you go. That's that.
I'm really going off it. It's miserable experience. We were trying to play it locally today as a pair.
Yeah.
And the game had no fucking idea where we were. Like, half of our passes were just going nowhere, like just to someone rolling off the pitch.
Yeah.
Like, it's like pulling teeth trying to achieve anything on there. It feels a stodgy, sloggy mess. And I have re-downloaded last year's game because I want to play it and
get a
make
comparison.
sure that I'm remembering properly.
No, it makes sense, buddy. Give it a go.
I've played loads of the new game, so I suppose I've got my money's worth, but quite how much of it I've enjoyed, I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's the big thing, isn't it? Is that time being well spent, or is it just
I don't think so.
Time for time's sake?
So. I haven't had that much fun with it because it's just painful a lot of the time. I would not recommend. Don't buy it. I think FIFA's a much better package. It resembles the game of football. The AI on PES is just fucking loopy. You know, playing against Bristol City earlier, they put 25 first-time passes together. The end one culminating in a first-time volley from an over-the-top through ball into the top corner.
Classic.
Like, it's bollocks.
It's what they
I'm
do.
not even playing on the top difficulty. Yeah.
No, in fact.
So there we are. I think that's probably put Pez to bed.
Gibbons, buddy. Sorry, I was just boozing.
That's all right. I'm doing that with you.
Alright, well, that's that for games, mate, I guess.
Yeah.
I haven't got any other games.
Well, in that case, buddy, we should probably go and move on. Now it's time for the news.
Fucking news.
Number one. I want to talk about the Rockstar thing with their staffing issues. And by staffing issues, I mean the issues that are coming out from anonymous members of their teams over the worryingly poor lengthy hours and working conditions at the various Rockstar studios. A lot of this is alleged. A lot of people are coming out anonymously because they obviously don't want to lose their jobs, and I think we can all understand that. But there have been multiple reports, and there were about half a dozen games publications put out lengthy sort of assassinations, I would probably describe them, of Rockstar games this week, based on dozens and dozens of cited sources working in various different studios, a hell of a lot out of Rockstar Lincoln, but obviously this is a problem across maybe all of them, allegedly. Lots and lots of really horrible stories, haven't there? Like, people working like 85, 90-hour weeks. A few that spring to mind, people who were basically working 85 hours, coming in on every Saturday, and then they started getting sort of prodded to be like, you need to really be showing your face here on a Sunday as well. People who have like basically worked for the last 3 months, and an anonymous source at Rockstar Lincoln claiming that the workforce had been encouraged to bring in sleeping bags and sleep under their desks, so they were working till
ridiculous.
2-3 in the morning, and then sleeping under their desks, getting up at sort of 7 and cracking on. And yeah, so there's a lot of this going on. This is not obviously the very first studio. We've heard lots about the crunch lately, and we mentioned before about the Hauser brothers, the discussion in interviews saying, like, bragging about 100-hour weeks and saying how they're working really hard, followed by a sort of retraction from Dan Hauser saying, we don't
expect that from everyone.
We don't expect anyone to work hard, which was a weird quote. So yeah, it all sounds pretty ropey. Another story coming out of one of the Rockstar studios of someone who had a newborn baby with some sort of complications, and they were absolutely pounding like 18-hour days throughout the week so that they could get like to see this kid at the weekends. And then they started getting sort of pressure put on them, saying you need to be here at the weekends. Like, we need you here on Saturdays, we need you here on Sundays, and them ending up like going. People talking about mental health issues and all sorts. And this is inevitably going to be a widespread problem across the industry. I think that it's quite apparent. We saw it with Telltale. There's been murmurs of problems with CD Projekt Red, and looking at lots of anonymous sources and forum posts on Eurogamer from developers and artists, it's seems to be a culture, a standard practice in this industry of video games, where as projects ramp up, people are working every hour under the sun. And there's a discussion going on in the industry right now, basically saying, is it worth it? Like, is it all of this like detailed work going into video games? Like, is that worth it? It seems to be the question at the moment.
As in, you mean worth it as in like the end product? Is it worth putting in all these hours and everything just to get it that little bit better, or however bad the game turns out, as you mean? Yes, that's exactly how this is being portrayed in the games media at the moment. Is you've got people coming out like Jim Sterling, who I tend to agree with a lot of the time, saying like, why the fuck did they waste all this time on this particular Red Dead detail? Like, when they didn't need to do that, what a complete waste of man hours. Like, they've made people like work their tits off to make it so that horse testicles shrink when it's cold and stuff like that. And I understand where they're coming from there, but I just really feel the need to have a very brief rant about how I feel about this. I really think we should stop going on about how Rockstar shouldn't have included so much detail in one of their video games. And we should be talking about the rights of the workers, like in each like corresponding country, the rights of those who work in the games industry. Like, yeah. Because no one outside the industry knows that much about how games are made and like the crunch times used to get them there. Like, what's Naughty Dog like for hours and pressure to do overtime? Like, the fact that we haven't ever heard anything out of Naughty Dog, that doesn't necessarily mean anything other than perhaps their staff are NDA'd. Or maybe it's a nicer place to work. How does EA go about rotoring its staff for FIFA? Like, they're trying to churn out a AAA product every 12 months. Like, how does that work? What's it like working for them? What about every game that you own in your games collection? Like, are we going to now say, like, oh, you know, what about fucking Mario? Everyone goes on about how brilliant Nintendo are. Like, what hours do they work when they're working on a Zelda game? Like, we haven't got any of this information, and I'm not sure it's my responsibility, if I'm honest, and that might seem a bit callous, but it's the responsibility of governments to make sure that hours are set properly, and businesses to make sure that they're operating in a way that doesn't kill their workers off. Obviously.
But that shouldn't have a bearing on the product that's being made. Like, suggesting things should be cut from the game so workers don't have to work so hard is that surely just missing the point completely. Like, games should be what they are, like the vision of the team and the hard work of the workforce. But people don't watch films and be like, oh, all these extras. Like, what fucking waste, like, all these people, they were probably sitting there for weeks, like, waiting to be, like, extras in the background. What a fucking waste of time. Why did they bother doing that? Like, would it have detracted from the vision to have, like, 10 people there rather than 100? What's this fucking oboe doing in this song on this album? Like, what's the point of this particular layer?
Because it's the music? Media.
Like, it is
what it is.
It is what it is, and the point is not that they should have cut things from the game so that they didn't have to work people so hard. The issue is protecting human rights, making sure people aren't taken advantage of. Like, if Red Dead wanted to include... If Rockstar wanted to include frozen horse testicles and it would take, like, way longer, then they should have hired more people to do that, or made the game...
Or delayed
or taken
the game.
A longer time to make the game. Those are the important things, not, like...
it's not the case of, like... It's not about... what's in the game. It's about managing time in a way, and
managing people and being fair to people. But then again,
you know, I know we don't know the situations, we weren't there, it didn't happen to us, but like you say, these workers will have contracts and they will have, I don't know, they might be part of some sort of union, and that they should be bringing these things up. I mean, they might be like ostracized for it or whatever, but you know, that's what they're there for. No,
the idea that a whole industry is just keeping quiet, like keeping that, like the whole workforce. And I get that there are differences, as you say, like there's unions and so on in Europe. In America, I think if you push too hard for workers' rights, people start calling you a commie. So maybe that's a little bit dangerous. But, and you can have intense pressure. It sounded like a lot of these stories were, people kind of being a bit lent on.
Yeah.
But you're exactly right. Like the product released at the end is a different matter to the amount of hours people have had to work. Like confusing the two things seems pretty narrow-minded and idiotic to me. Like a game, if a game has if there are a certain amount of things that need to be done for a video game, then you should employ the right amount of people to complete it, and take the right amount of time to do it.
You need a good Gantt chart there, buddy.
Yeah, it looks to me like 7 years and the amount of workforce they employed. What we should be talking about is a game that made $750 million in 2 days. Why didn't they have more people working on this product? The answer is presumably because they wanted the profit margin to be higher.
Yes.
But that's what we should be talking about. Can everyone please stop talking about how things should be cut from our video games because it's not fair on the people who are employed to make them? Yeah. That is not the point of the argument, and that's all I wanted to say about it.
Yeah, fair it is, buddy. Do you feel better?
I do feel better, yeah, I do. And I'm not shitting on these people. Like I totally get, like, it's horrible, and the stories are coming out are really, really bad. But the idea that the game should have been worse so that these people had to work less is just missing the point of how fucking making things works, to be honest. So yeah, there we go. That's my number one, buddy. We'll move on to number 2. Xbox Game Pass is coming to PC, and there's tentative talk of possible emulation of previous Xbox titles. So obviously when I first read this story, and I think most people probably would have thought the same, that's all very well and good, but Game Pass, part of Game Pass's charm and value is that you can play Xbox Originals and Xbox 360 games, upscaled a lot of the time, and that makes that library of games really, really impressive. On the PC, where you haven't got those Xbox One and 360 titles, maybe it's not quite so impressive, but there's now talk that they're going to try and maybe get that working, so you could be firing up emulated 360 games on your PC, up-resed.
See, that sounds really cool to me, because obviously I haven't got an Xbox One or an Xbox One X or whatever, but I do have a PC that would probably run most of those things reasonably well, and like it's something that I'd definitely be interested in, especially if you ended up getting your Xbox One and be like, well, we could play that game together and I could just play it on the PC kind of thing. Like, it's just, once again, Microsoft moving in the right direction, like putting stuff out there that they don't really need to, but it's a fucking good idea, and why the fuck not?
Yeah, man, absolutely. And as you say, that the idea that for £7 a month, £8 a month, we could play through like Gears together with you on a PC and me on an Xbox, exactly. And same with like Forza or Forza Horizon with our wheels. Like
that's cool.
Sky's the limit, man. It's pretty cool. I like that. So,
yeah, man, definitely. It's very, very
early
good.
reports. The Game Pass it looks like that's definitely going to happen. The emulation probably a bit trickier, but yeah. As you say, making all the right noises once again, and that's been the case basically ever since motherfucking Spencer took over, is that the number of projects that he's greenlit, the number of things that have happened to enrich that service, it's just a constant, like, story of goodwill and cool systems and so on. So, yeah, very good.
Gibbons.
Next, CSGO cheat Forsaken. You'll remember we spoke about last week. This is the guy who cheated during a CSGO tournament and was caught, which is funny. He's received a 5-year ban rather than a lifetime one. I don't know why you wouldn't just ban the guy for life. It probably won't matter, because who knows where CSGO will be in 5 years, and also no one would employ this person in their right mind. But
that's true. He is a cunt.
This is someone who's been caught cheating before, received a ban that was then reduced. Now they've been caught cheating in a tournament with a large competition pot, and they've only received a 5-year ban rather than a lifetime one. I think that kind of undermines, if you're trying to get esports as a legitimate thing, then I think that undermines it somewhat, to be honest. But then I suppose a drugs cheat in football, they wouldn't have a lifetime ban necessarily.
That's true.
So maybe, either way, there were some funny quotes from this Forsaken guy. He regrets the day he first played Counter-Strike, as nothing good has happened to him since, he says. What a helmet. Esports seem pretty shit to me. So, yeah. Next, Team Sonic Racing has been delayed. It was supposed to be coming out in December, I think. It's been delayed till May. This is the Sumo Digital game. The guys who made Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed, which was a fucking banging karting game. He loves it. And, this one I'm really looking forward to, but unfortunately it's going to be Q1 or Q2 next year now, instead of the end of this year. Remedy resolves Alan Wake music licensing issues. Alan Wake, you may remember from, I don't know, about a year ago, was it? It was removed
from all stores, because of the music license had run out.
Yeah, so they couldn't sell it anymore because it had music in it that was no longer licensed. Remedy has now resolved all licensing issues, and that game has returned to sale everywhere that it was for sale before. And that's a really good game. I really enjoyed playing through that on 360 back in the day. So that's cool.
Gibbons.
Never played the American Nightmare thing, though, did you?
I played a bit of it and then stopped. Cool story.
Well, there you go.
I had a flashlight, I remember that.
Yeah, that sounds like Alan. That sounds like our Alan.
That's kind of his thing.
What else? A few more little bits. EA has published a guide explaining its 3 release dates for Battlefield 5, entitled, "When do you want to play Battlefield 5?
No.
Yeah, I'm not asked.
Okay, yeah.
Not really bothered. So, yeah, this is a literal chart showing 3 different days of launch for Battlefield 5.
That's what I want in video games. Like, if I pay more, I get it early, you know?
Yeah.
That's cool. Also, if I pay more, do I get more unlocks, which means I'm better at the game?
Yeah, like loot crates and horse armor and that sort of thing. Absolutely,
yeah, so if I just spend more money, I'm better.
Yeah. We will get to that as well.
Okay, cool.
Starting point, Origin and EA Access subscribers will be able to play the game from the 9th of November, buddy. So that's your starting point. That's your first launch day.
Okay.
Origin and EA Access.
Got it.
Origin being the PC EA subscribers, and EA Access subscribers are the Xbox subscribers.
I don't really have much of an issue with the EA Access kind of thing. I'm like, fair dues. That's kind of just like a nice perk of having EA Access.
Yeah, I get that. It's a fairly substantial.
It's a hefty
days.
chunk, but yeah, you get a lot more for your money. Let's just say, instead of just being able to play Battlefield 5 like 11 days early or whatever, there's a hell of a lot of other stuff you get with that monthly subscription.
Yeah, you're not subscribed to that so you can play the game early.
Exactly. Well, some people will, but you know,
some people will. But most
well
people
done, those guys.
Yeah,
or girls.
So deluxe edition players can play from the 15th of November, buddy.
Sweet.
You buy the deluxe edition. Standard edition players, or people who've bought the game, as I'm going to call them.
People that buy the game.
Yeah, they can play from the 20th. So that's the launch day of Battlefield 5 is the 20th. So yeah, there you go.
It's just retarded. I'm sorry, it is. It's just like, no, just release your game on that day. Like, just do that. Like, why give... it's such a dick move.
Just why make it so complicated?
Well, yeah, there's that as well, but it's just absolute
such
wanks.
I can't feel that strongly. Like, you want your day one sales to be that impressive number. It's only going to serve to diminish that and make it look kind of, how's it going to sit in the charts when loads of people on EA Access picked it up. Like, are they going to include those as sales? They probably fucking would if they can, won't they?
Yeah, probably.
They can shove it up their arse, as far as I'm concerned. EA is also harping on about how they've learned lessons from Battlefront 2's loot crates, or
the shit show that was
pay-to-win mechanics.
Yeah, pay-to-win mechanics, yeah. I've been there.
They're saying that all Battlefield 5 microtransactions will be for cosmetics only.
Brilliant.
So
good guys,
well
EA.
done there.
Good guys,
well
EA,
done.
Yeah.
You're only peddling the game's graphics
let
in
you
microtransaction.
Get that through gameplay, and whatever, and just pay for it. It's not like you've bought the game. You haven't. What? Oh, you bought the game,
This is what this industry
you want to
does,
buy cosmetics as well. Okay, yeah, cool.
What this industry does is they go completely over the top, get called out for it, and then take like a half step back and are like, da-da, and everyone's like, oh, that's great, isn't it? Like, it's only cosmetics. It's like, no,
it's only cosmetics.
It's only cosmetics.
It's all right. It's only cosmetics. You haven't got to buy them because it's cosmetics. But why not just fucking put that in the game, cunts? But video games cost more to make these days, don't they?
Yeah.
That's why they do it. Yeah? Is that?
That's why they make shirts and sell them for 80p each. Yeah.
Yeah? Is that why?
Dickheads. Okay.
I'm being incredibly sarcastic tonight. I can only apologise.
I feel like
I'm being way more sarcastic than normal.
I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
It's tasty.
You're welcome.
Something we can both agree on, buddy, is video games really didn't establish themselves as a real force, a real media entity until this week's Half-Life 1 mod came out, which lets you play the entire game of Half-Life in third person as Spyro the Dragon.
Obviously, that is the pinnacle of what I want out of video games, and I can only imagine in at least a year and a half's time when people will be like, holy shit, we can make money off that. Let's put that in some kind of microtransaction state. Yeah.
This is a full Spyro mod. They've added all of the gems and collectibles into the game of Half-Life. Absolutely brilliant. I love it. Best thing I've heard all week. Good shit.
It's a good one, buddy.
Gibbons. Finally from me, you'll remember a little while ago we reported on the PlayStation Classic, which is the PS1 Mini.
This is the smaller, because, they did bring out a PS1, which was pretty small.
That's quite small.
If you remember. But this is smaller than that.
This is
and in the original style. I kind of liked the PS1 styling.
It was a bit Duplo.
It looked like a pebble, from what I remember.
It was quite cool.
Rounded, and I was like, I'll have one of them. That's nice. That is nice. But
yes,
I digress.
We'll kind of delve into this a little bit more later in the show. We've got a question from the Octo Pizzle, but the news that I am reporting to you, as this is indeed the news, is the list of games that are going to be on the PS Mini have been announced, and I will run them down now, and we'll just have a quick comment on each one, buddy. Battle Arena Toshinden.
What?
I don't know what that is. Cool Borders 2.
Yeah, Cool Borders.
That was a good game. Destruction Derby.
Get in.
Second one was better, but I can understand why they've gone with the first. Final Fantasy 7 had to be on there, really. Pretty important.
I guess.
GTA, the original GTA.
Number 3.
That was a great game. The first one.
Oh, I thought it was number 3 was on there, but what, the original top-down?
Yeah. As far
as yeah, because number 3 was PS2. What am I on about? What a hoon.
Yeah, so GTA. We have Intelligent Cube. I don't know what that is.
Okay.
Well, it's that sort of puzzle, that puzzle series I was playing a more recent iteration of recently. Jumping Flash. There's some real filler here, and we did struggle when we first were talking about this, like what can be on there.
Yeah.
There's some stuff that should have been on here that isn't. Metal Gear Solid is on there.
Obviously.
Needed to be. Mr. Driller.
Yeah.
We got Abe's Odyssey.
Great.
Kind of needed. Rayman.
Yep.
Resident Evil Director's Cut.
Okay.
Revelations Persona.
Okay.
Ridge Racer Type 4.
Okay.
Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo.
Right.
Siphon Filter, kind of needed to be on there.
Yep.
Tekken 3, that needed to be on there.
That was going to be on there.
Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six, the original. That's a surprise to me.
Yeah. I didn't see that coming, to be honest.
Twisted Metal, that was a good game. I liked that. And Wild Arms. So that's your lineup. The box is going to come with 2 retro controllers for couch co-op. Obviously, this will be something.
So, PlayStation 1 controllers, yeah, just.
Yeah, retro, buddy.
Retro, gotcha.
Anything missing off there that you think should probably be on there?
I don't know. Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider really that was the first thing that sprang to mind. I would have said that Resident Evil 2 was the biggest Resi game on the PS1. I would have had that on there. I think Crash Team Racing.
Yeah, you think about those games and stuff on there, wouldn't you?
There's no Gran Turismo. That's weirdly absent.
Yeah. Tony Hawk's, mate. Should have been on there.
Yeah. Other than that, I think they've ticked most of the boxes.
Yeah, I'm struggling to think back on.
Obviously, Spyro and Crash, but they've remastered them. So
yeah, they wouldn't put them on. That'd
there.
be silly, wouldn't it?
Be a weird thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, you got your Metal Gear Solid. That'll do. What was it? No, that was PS2. I'm thinking of now.
Dino Crisis.
No, not Ico. The other one.
It's PS2, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what I said. It was PS2, wasn't it?
Yeah. Okay. I think they've ticked most of the boxes. But there's a few in there that
Micro
I'm not really
Machines.
Sure. V3 was that on?
I think it was it. I don't know. Whatever one it was. I remember playing that on the PlayStation 1 a fair chunk.
Yeah, I think Gran Turismo and Tomb Raider. I mean, Tomb Raider must have been licensing.
Yeah.
GT, I don't really understand at all.
No, I don't, it's probably just to get the name on there, I guess. I don't know.
First Gran Turismo was fucking great, man. That should definitely be on there. That was one of the best games on the PS1.
Yeah.
And F1, obviously, licensing issues again, I'd imagine. But the first Formula 1 game, the one that was on the demo disc for the PS1 when it first came out.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. And Die Hard Trilogy, but...
Oh,
you know.
Yeah, Gibbons. That should definitely be on there. What a game.
You'd probably be able to crack this thing and chuck them all on there after launch.
Yeah, maybe.
Seems to be the way it goes with these things. Although Sony a bit more robust with their tech than
the Nintendo. Yeah, true. We shall see.
Of the fucking
we shall see. Yeah,
Gibbons.
It'll be interesting.
So there you go. We'll come back to the retro consoles later in the show. But for now, buddy, I think it's time for me to hand over to you for my favourite section, and I'm sure the listeners as well. And that is Ash's News Favourite Things of the Week.
If you like news but hate information, you have found the right place. Ash's News Favorite Thing of the Week.
Cheers, buddy. Yeah, a few things this week. Keeping with Red Dead Redemption 2 and my classic reporting on porn sites. Here we go. Red Dead Redemption 2 YouPorn searches up over 800%. Obviously. Why?
What are they looking for?
Red Dead Redemption 2 porn. I can only imagine the fact that, you can't sleep with hookers on the game. That's why,
It was reported that there is a sex scene in the game somewhere. I haven't got to it.
There better be. Otherwise,
he's going to be writing a
5 out of 10.
I want to speak to all the people sleeping under their desks of Rockstar League.
Yeah, but what were you playing at? You should be spending more time on nudie ladies than anything else, really.
Absolutely.
Next we've got Microsoft. A couple of things from Microsoft. They're working on a Switch-inspired Xbox controller for mobiles and tablets. Kind of makes sense, doesn't it?
Certainly does.
Playing games on a phone is fucking terrible.
Yep.
Touchscreen's a wank. Next, Xbox revenue has grown 94% year on year, apparently. I don't know what that means.
Sure.
Stats. They seem happy about it, though, I guess. Yeah.
Yep.
Don't know if you've seen this. EVE Online, it's going to have a virtual prison for cheaters.
I like that.
That's kind of cool. So if you're cheating,
special.
You're in prison, mate. Fuck you.
Get in prison.
This seems pretty cool. Twitch, old streaming site Twitch, they're teaming up with Harmonix to develop a streaming karaoke game.
Okay.
I think that's kind of cool.
That sounds, very interesting.
It's going to be
That's going to be like a proper
horrible.
game release?
I don't know. I don't know.
So.
Maybe it's something that's just on Twitch, and then you go on there and you can just do a bit of fucking karaoke. Who knows?
Maybe.
Be interesting. Bit
Sounds
different,
funny.
innit? Yeah, definitely. That's what my section's all about, buddy. Stupidity. Finally, this is the best thing that I've found. A WoW player, that's World of Warcraft, has reached level 120, which I believe is the highest level, just by picking flowers.
Okay.
So, there you go. He picked a lot of flowers. Well, she picked a lot of flowers. I don't know if it's a he or she. I don't know if there's any actual stats on... Oh, there we go. 77 days worth of grinding there just to pick flowers. Receiving small rewards for the efforts. Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
That's what people do this day and age.
There you go, buddy, yeah.
For funsies.
There seems to be a firework display outside my flat, so apologies if you can hear that. I don't know why you'd really care, but sorry.
So there you go, buddy. There's my favourite things of this week.
Oh, well, thank you very much, buddy. That was your news. Before that, of course, was my news and some sort of weird rant, and that was the news and some sort of weird rant. And now it's time for Out This Week.
Let's take a look at some games coming out this week. Probably filled with microtransactions, loot crates, pay to win mechanics. Because fuck you all. Fuck you all. Fuck you all. Fuck you all. Buy our shit.
That's out this week, buddy.
There's a lot out this week, buddy.
There is. I mean, we can skip some of it if you want. I don't mind.
I've already removed some of the fluff and nonsense.
Nice.
But, let's get the ball rolling because it is the end of the month, going into the new start of the new month, and that means Games for Gold time and PlayStation Plus time. So, Xbox Games for Gold for November, buddies. Battlefield 1 and Race the Sun are your Xbox One games, and your 360 games, which are also backwards compatible, are Assassin's Creed, the original, and Dante's Inferno.
I mean, it's not great. Battlefield 1's been... Right. Yeah, it's been on sale for about £4 or £5 this past month. So
that is unfortunate timing.
I mean, that's not great. Race for the Sun. I think that was PS Plus a long time ago.
It was PS Plus like 2 years ago.
Yeah, so
and then went on sale afterwards for about £6.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed. That's just old and
must
shit
be 50p
now.
in CEX. That game
and
must be.
Who cares about Dante's Inferno? Really,
it's poorly received, middling third-person shooter. So
I mean, unless you haven't got Battlefield 1, that's a pretty good month for you.
Yeah.
I guess.
But it's pretty poor. And you could tell that they thought it was poor as well, because it didn't just say the overall value of the software, but it also said 5,000 gamer score
available. 5,000. Yeah, I know. I was like, wow,
like,
well played.
You're trying to sugarcoat this fucking... Yeah. You can't really polish a turd.
No, unfortunately not, buddy.
There you go. Battlefield 1's cool, but other than that, you're talking about £3 worth of video games there. Literally.
Yeah.
Normally I'm kind of embellishing or exaggerating, but no. It's about £3.
It's about £3, yeah.
On to PS Plus. We obviously we thought we knew the PS4 games. They were leaked weeks and weeks ago, like probably the week after the last set came out. They've now been confirmed. So the PS4 games are Yakuza Kiwami and Bulletstorm Full Clip Edition, which is cool. I've wanted to play a Yakuza game for ages.
Yeah, Gibbons. Me too, buddy.
Cool. Bulletstorm, I've actually wanted to play that for quite a while as well. Looks like a really fun, fast-paced shooter.
Yeah, it looks stupid, buddy. I'm up for that.
Yeah. So you get those two. PS3 users get Jackbox Party Pack 2 and Arcado Series. Vita users get Burly Men at Sea and Roundabout.
Of course they do.
Yeah. They both work on PS4 as well, so I'll be trying those out and talk about them next week. So yeah, I think they've got it.
I think they'll win. I like you say, I've wanted to play a Yakuza game for a while, and Bulletstorm's always looked like one of those games that I want to play but never wanted to buy. So perfect for a PS Plus title, I would say.
Definite PS Plus fodder, absolutely. And traditionally less important around this time of year what the subscription games are, because there's a whole like raft of like big titles coming out, and lots of them being sort of presents for Christmas, consoles being presents for Christmas, and so on.
Gibbons.
But it's still a really pretty poor showing from Microsoft, considering all of the good work that they do and the sort of arsenal of software that they have. I mean, it just looks really bad. I mean, the Battlefield 1 thing, they like chucking out. It's similar to what Bungie did with Destiny, chuck it out before the new big pack launches or the new game launches.
Yeah,
that's why that's
people
there.
Are interested. Yeah, of course it is.
But as you say, the fact it's been on sale for like $5 for the last month on both platforms,
on everything, it's not great.
With a couple of 360 games to the tune of about £1 between them, and then Race the Sun, which I think it was quite fun to play that game. Actually, it's quite a good game. But
that line is going to piss more people off than we think, because I reckon a lot of people would have bought Battlefield 1 for like £4 or £5. Being like, I'll buy that, and then to know like 2-3 weeks later, it's like you could have had that for free, fuckers.
And I know people who've challenged that on PlayStation have actually had a bit of joy with refunds in the past.
Yeah,
so I
true.
don't know if probably most people won't bother for the sort of amount, but it will irk quite a few people, I think. So yeah, so there's your lineups, buddy. And then on to games that are actually coming out. I'll roll through these quickly because there's a lot of them. We've got Grip coming to PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. This looks cool. This is a spiritual successor to a game called Roll Cage, which I used to play on PC. And it was essentially, when I was little, I always wanted this radio-controlled car it had really big wheels and then the body in the middle so that it could flip over and you could keep going.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember what it was called. It began with R. But this is...
No.
I can't remember. It's like...
Yeah, I know what it is. Yeah.
Something like that. So there was a game called Roll Cage. It was an arcade racer. You had boost and so on, but you were basically playing as one of these cars with the big wheels that you could flip over. You could go on like the roof of tunnels and all sorts of stuff like that. This is the spiritual successor to that game. It's called Grip. It's out on all platforms. It looks really cool. And it's going straight onto Xbox Game Pass. So if you're an Xbox One player,
oh, nice,
you'll have access to this on the launch day as well. Which is probably how I'll end up playing it when I pick up my Xbox One at some point.
Nice.
But yeah, looks cool. Elsewhere, we've got Omen of Sorrow coming to PS4. This is a 2D fighting game in the Unreal 4 engine, so it is 2D, but it also looks rather lovely. It's from a Chilean developer called A1 Games, and it's their debut. So
nice.
Looks like it could be a cheeky one for the fighting genre. We got Transpose on the Rift Vive and PSVR. This is an exciting one for me. It's a sort of a portally puzzle game, but it's all in VR, and you can kind of move blocks around and stuff. Kind of the sort of slow-paced gameplay that you want in your VR.
Yeah,
sounds good.
Use that brain power, buddy.
Gibbons. Carnival Games arrives to Switch. There was a Carnival Games on the Wii. This is
I had that on the Wii. It's probably the same.
It's probably about the same.
Yep.
Graphics are better.
Load of wank.
So.
Yeah.
But it's just a collection of mini games, isn't it? So it's, that's what that is. Brawlhalla is coming to Xbox One and Switch. It is a Smash Bros sort of game, basically. So like a character fighting game with you can fall off the edge, but you can jump back up, and simple platforms and stuff. We've got Overkill's The Walking Dead arriving on PC this week. This is a co-op Walking Dead game. So it's got the Walking Dead license, but it looks a bit like Left 4 Dead. And it's from the guys Overkill did Payday. That was their big one, Payday and Payday 2.
Okay.
They're kind of always co-op heavy, Overkill games. And with that license, I think this will probably do pretty well. But it does look a lot Left 4 Dead-y to me.
So looks a good 10 years old.
I think all Overkill games look about 10 years old, buddy, if you ask me. But this is coming to PC for now, and we'll have to see how well that's received, because it will inevitably arrive. If Overkill does something, it's release their games over and over and over again on every possible platform.
Yeah, they do, and then they make it free to play, but not free to play with micro. It's just
pay to win, and then stop
great.
it from being pay to win.
Yeah, it's just whatever.
Interesting decision makers. Swords and Soldiers Shawarmageddon comes to PC. Shawarmageddon.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is coming to PC and PS4. It looks to me like Awesome Noughts. So it's that sort of online team-based 2D tower defense kind of thing. This has obviously got a medieval theme. Awesome Noughts was like a robot-y kind of mechanical futuristic theme, but it looks to me like that's what this is. So I'm basing that on a 15-minute video.
That'll do. So you need.
We've also got a couple of PSVR titles, Deracine and Siren, which are coming out this week. Deracine is this exciting VR adventure from the Dark Souls guys, and that looks very cool. And then Siren is a survival horror game that can absolutely do one, buddy, because I've only got so many pairs of pants. So
that's true.
Fuck that. Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom comes out this week. I popped a link in there for you, buddy, just so you can have a listen to.
I've had a little look at that. Yeah. That's nice.
It's a 2D side-scrolling platformer.
Yeah.
With ridiculous theme tune, which I'll
get the theme
enjoyed.
tune and I'll stick it in around about now.
Your journey began, it's time to go. The power of change will help you grow and set you free. Only you can save tomorrow. Out in the darkness of the night, your courage will shine just like a light through eternity and put an end to all the sorrow. Through your adventures, you'll find the answers. Just gotta be strong and fight with resolve, 'cause nobody's gonna hold you down. Monster Boy, fighting for a future made of love and joy. All the good and evil trying to destroy. Only you can save. If you have faith in your brain, you will see that not everything is what it seems to be. There's a beast within you, go and set it free. Listen to its voice. You're the morphin' hero, Monster Boy.
Very tasty indeed.
It's a beautiful tune.
Yep, it'll be a winner. Elsewhere, we've got Fluffy Horde arrives on PC this week. This is a sort of tower or base defense game against evil bunnies, but it's kind of pixel arty, and you build kind of a little proper base, putting up more buildings and stuff while still defending. So that sounds quite cool. Kursk arrives on PC, PS4, and Xbox One. This is described as a documentary adventure So this is a first-person adventure title, but apparently like biographically accurate, true-to-life documentary set on a Russian submarine.
I think they should call it an adventure-mentary.
Adventure-mentary, yeah.
That'd be better.
Docuventure, yeah.
No, adventure-mentary.
Adventure-mentary. So that's that. We've also got Steel Rats, which is arriving on PC.
Some
PS4.
of these names are just fucking brilliant. They're just like, where did he come up with it?
This is PC, PS4, and Xbox One. This is a 2D side-scroll adventure game, buddy. But it's also Trials.
Right.
So it's a 2D side-scroller, platformer, but you're on a motorbike, and it's got Trials mechanics, going off jumps, balancing your bike, but then you can also turn it around, like you can change lanes in the foreground and background, turn corners to go up ramps. It's got full story and voice acting, but it's also Trials.
Right.
It's
I'm confused and interested, so I'm literally just chucking it on now. What am I looking at right now?
I watched someone doing the tutorial because I wanted to make sure that you actually balanced the bike over jumps and stuff, and you do. It took a while to get to that stage, but yeah, this is Trials if it was Sonic.
Yeah,
like
okay, I can see it now. I'm not sure about it, but it's there. Okay. This just looks baffling. Let me skip near to the end to see what happens further on. Okay, there's enemies. Yeah.
Yep.
Right. Vertical driving. What? You can... Oh my god. Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, there you go. That's Steel Rats, and I dare say worth keeping an eye on that one.
Okay, yeah, we'll look into this, I guess. A bit. Yeah, I'll leave it at that, buddy.
That'll do us for now.
Yeah,
Steel Rats there, coming out on PC, PS4, and Xbox One. We've got Valiant Hearts arriving on Switch. Tetris Effect arriving on PS4 and PSVR. There's also going to be a timed demo of that. So from the 9th of November, I think it's going to be a demo that's available for like a week or something as a promotional sort of thing. I'll certainly be trying that out because it's PSVR. And we have 1111 Memories Retold, which I mentioned a little while ago. This is a painterly looking World War I RPG where you're a photographer. It's coming to PC, PS4 and Xbox One. And finally, buddy, on November the 9th, Hitman 2 arrives on PC, PS4 and Xbox One.
Hitman 2, buddy. I don't know if you noticed, but some people this week were getting 40% off codes in their emails from Sony, and I was like, please fucking send me one for Hitman. Please send me one for Hitman. I didn't get nothing. I got shafted, mate. Absolute ball bags.
Stitch up.
I would have immediately just bought that outright, just being like, this is it. This is it.
This is it.
It's a game that I desperately want, and just I can't buy it right now. It's just one of those things. But it will be purchased in the future. Don't you fucking worry, son.
Absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, there's a big old list of games that are coming out. It's golden release time, but I don't know. It's just hard to sift through all of that.
There's a lot, buddy. There was a lot.
Crazy stuff. Well, there you go. I guess we'll move on.
Every week we end the show with questions and comments sent in by you. If you've got anything for us, just pop an email to the jfgpodcast@gmail.com or contact us on Facebook, Twitter, or at justforgamers.co.uk.
And now it's time for JFG Street Beat.
You got a question we wanna know. Beat. Facebook, Twitter, we're on them all. So hit us up and be on the show. Beat. The JFG Street Beat.
Street Beat.
We wanna know.
Get on the show.
Get on the show indeed, buddy. And we've got a couple of people on the show. First, the Octopizzle, who is a very, very sad Octopizzle right now because he's currently staying with family because he's between house move to house move, and it's meaning that he can't get any of his gaming in right now. So,
that's bad news, Bears. I mean, I could be in that situation. I am in half of that situation, but luckily, I can still play games.
Gibbons. So PJ did have this for us, and he says, you might have covered this already in the past, can't really remember, but are you tempted, he's talking to me here because I've picked up the SNES Mini already, are you tempted to get a full collection of mini consoles as they are brought out?
Are you?
No. I think they're a bit of a rip-off, if I'm honest.
I mean, the fact that your mini SNES is just pretty much sat in the drawer.
Oh, no, it's under the telly, and it does get an airing every now and again.
Oh, hello.
And it's got lots more games on it now, like Aladdin and The Lion King. But, yeah, I think all in all, they are a little bit of a rip-off. I like the idea of having them for any kids that I might pop out. Not me physically, that I want to kind of bring up through the ranks of video games, if that's a thing. But at the same time, I am also aware that I could get I could emulate like everything.
Yeah,
I could.
Yeah.
But it is nice. They are nice things to have. If you're going to collect shit, like people collect fucking special edition steel cases and shitty fucking statues.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to collect anything, then miniature versions of old consoles with, like, the 20 best games of each one is a cool thing to have.
Cool.
I certainly wouldn't be that interested in the PS1 because I never even had one. So, unlike the SNES where I played the tits of it around friends' houses, that wasn't really the case with the PS1. I was kind of more interested in PC gaming at that point, and the graphical, like, fucking gulf between the PS1 and PC at the time was just insane. Like, much wider than it is now, I think. The PS1, frankly, for the most part, looks pre-toilet to me during the era and I had then I went on to Dreamcast afterwards and stuff. So I thought it looked a bit shit, but obviously there were some great games on there. Missed out on Final Fantasy and Metal Gear and Resident Evil.
Yeah, I feel if I... Because I was I wasn't straight on the PlayStation bandwagon because I had the N64. So I feel like I did miss out on Final Fantasy and Metal Gear as franchises. But I feel like I'm a better person for that.
I think I'm more tempted by the older consoles. Like, it'd be cool to have the NES one, and obviously there's talk of this Mega Drive one coming out, and I had that console, so it seems a bit stupid. But at the same time, like, I mean, there's a Sega like retro mega pack launching around.
Yeah,
Christmas
there is,
time.
isn't there? I've seen it.
It's like 60 games or something in this pack. Absolutely,
that's
ridiculous.
What you want.
Yeah, but you know,
But do you?
It is nice to... I don't know. I don't think I want either of them.
Yeah,
but,
that's the thing, isn't it?
The Mega Drive, certainly, that'd be a really cool little thing to have. To have the SNES and the Mega Drive Minis somewhere, it'd be quite nice when I'm no longer in a 2-room flat and I can actually like stretch out and, like you're going to have with your little games room or whatever.
Gibbons.
So yeah, I'm not that tempted, really. I don't know. Be interesting to see how interested people are for the PlayStation. We kind of mocked the fact that early 3D graphics were a bit wank, and therefore maybe it doesn't necessarily translate as well as the sort of 16-bit era in terms of like buying these little retro consoles. But
yeah,
let us know what you think, buddies. We'd like to know. Hit us up and get on the show.
Get on the show.
So finally this week we've got something off of the Discord. There's a section in our Discord where you can ask questions, buddies, and Mr. Mike Strider has done exactly that. He's just picked up a PS4, so he's been kind of playing around with some stuff on there, looking forward to some exclusives. But he's got a question for us. Do you like video game card games? I just learnt Gwent. Hearthstone is my second favourite. I doubt I'll get into Magic the Gathering. And I know he's been playing some Thronebreaker as well, because that's rather than the actual just Gwent the card game. I know he's been playing that, which is a really cool looking Witcher RPG with Gwent thrown in.
Yeah, it's a bit different, isn't it?
It does look cool. Have you seen much of that in action? It's proper like old school RPG, more like sort of a Baldur's Gate type thing.
Is it like isometric-y kind of?
Yeah, exactly.
Stuff, isn't it? Yeah.
But then it's got Gwent in there, but some really interesting Gwent battles where maybe you'll fight a beast that's made up of 9 cards, and you can kind of try and take out different cards to weaken it in different ways and stuff. I think that looks really fun. I did like Gwent, but I didn't like the official Gwent release because it had all these extra mechanics, and I'd kind of got used to the basic game,
standard
The Witcher.
Gwent. Yeah. I mean, we went for a phase of playing Hearthstone a fair bit as well, didn't we? I mean, we've dabbled in that. We've had previous, as you could say. I don't know. We've
did you play that
Elder Scrolls Legends? Yeah, I played that a fair bit. But I don't know. It's something that I enjoy playing every now and again. Like when there's something new, but it's nothing. I've never really gotten into anything too heavy. It's like even back in the day when like I was like heavily into Pokemon and stuff like that. My brother, he was really into like the cards, but I'd rather play the Game Boy version of it. I'm like, this is more fun in a way. Like more, well, it is. Yeah, I don't know. I've never been a massive fan of card games unless it's like fucking Top Trumps, I guess.
The mighty Top Trumps.
Snap.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never massively got into the video ones really, but I played a fair bit at Hearthstone. And I know that Funk loves Magic the Gathering. He's always tried to get us to play that, but we're assholes, so we haven't.
Yeah, fuck it.
There's another one as well that the name escapes me right now. There's a sort of single player card game on the consoles that looks really good. Card game, video games. Is it going to pop up?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Hands of Fate. Something of Fate.
I don't think it's feet. It's more likely hands.
Hand of Fate.
Close enough. One hand.
Yeah, Hand of Fate. I think that's out on PC as well, but it's also on PS4. I've always liked the look of that. I've never actually picked it up, but because it was single player, I think, the first one. But yeah, I liked Gwent in The Witcher. I was less impressed by the standalone because it just brought all new stuff in and it pissed me off. I'd basically just kind of got down in my head how to play it, and then suddenly I couldn't play it anymore and I just kept losing. It made me annoyed, but it's probably my fault rather than anyone else's there. So yeah, we do like video card games, but we haven't really played many of them recently.
Gibbons.
Is it worth him having a look at the Elder Scrolls one, do you think?
No.
And there you go. That seems like a very fitting way to end the show, buddies. So I think that'll about do us for episode 187. It's been a long one, but then we had all that Red Dead to talk about.
There's a lot of Red
300 games launching this week. So
yeah, and some sort of rant as well in the middle.
Yeah, you love it, you slag.
Yeah.
I suppose we'll probably go and do some drifting round the streets of wherever the fuck that city's supposed to be, shall we, at this point on Need for Speed?
Yeah, Need for Speed.
Yeah, let's go and do some races. We love a bit of races.
Races!
Thanks so much for listening, buddies. We'll catch you next time. Until then, I've been Alex. He has been Ash.
Goodbye.
Farewell. You've been listening to the JfG podcast with Ash and me, Alex. You can find us at www.thejfgpodcast.co.uk, where you'll also find our Discord and Street Beat if you want to get involved with the show. Our Facebook is /the JfG podcast, and our Twitter handle is @the JfG podcast. We're on all those video streaming sites too, buddies, from TubeTube to twitch.tv /the JfG podcast to mixer.com, aka beam.fucking pro. We've got a PS4 community you can join. Just search the JfG podcast on there. And we're also on Google Plus if that is how you choose to live your life. Thanks so much for listening, buddies. We'll catch you next time.